Hello to student classmates. My name is Claudia Juan. I hope that you are very well. Now I'm going to show my lesson plans for the task 5. This is the lesson planning for the group adults. The level for this lesson is intermediate B1. The learning strategy is cognitive. The topic is phrasal verbs. The activity objectives to get students to obtain basic knowledge of English, precisely the phrasal verb, doing activities for each of the skills. And now, class description, resource, and time for this lesson. The session were up for this lesson. The teacher forms two groups of students and uses a list of phrasal verbs. Then the teacher chooses two verbs and begins to graphically represent each phrasal verb on the board. And each group must get a so on with each verb until the list is finished. And finally, the teacher announces the score for each team. The resources for this lesson are board, pencil, barlets, and the time for this session is 10 minutes. And now the session presentation. The teacher showed the students a video which contained phrasal verbs vocabulary, and the students must take notes in their notebook. The resources for this session are notebook, pencil, and video. The time for the session is 20 minutes. The session for this lesson practice. The teacher gives a short reading in physical to the students and each one of them must identify the phrasal verb that the reading contains. The reserves for this session are pencil and reading. The time for this session is 20 minutes. Session production. The first activity for this section is the teacher gives the student three cards where each one contains a phrasal verb, and each one of them must write and pronounce the verb in the board, taking into account the image. The next activity is the teacher splits each student with 5 incomplete sentences. The student must choose a field in this page with the phrasal verb, taking into account the context of the sentence. The resources for this session are cards, board, notebook, and pencil. The time for this session is 30 minutes. The material for this session are worksheets, readings, videos, pencils, and notebooks, among others. The assessment for this lesson is the teacher must identify the differences and correct mistakes to all students. Secondly, conduct another evaluation in order to qualify the students and identify differences and create reinforcement workshop if necessary. Now, the lesson planning for the adolescents. The level for this lesson is A1. The learning strategy for this lesson is social affective. The topic for this lesson is adjectives and prepositions, and the activity objective is to get a student to obtain basic knowledge of English, precisely the adjectives and prepositions, doing activities for each of skills. And now the class description, the resource, the time for the lesson. And now the session we're at for this lesson. The teacher must identify the student's previous knowledge in the area of English, and for this, he forms a round table where, with the support of flashcards of adjective and preposition, allows the student to identify and pronounce the adjective and preposition while the teacher observes, taking note of the vocabulary that the student know and does know. The resource for this session is flashcards, and the time is 10 minutes. Now the session presentation. The teacher socializes the principles, adjectives, and prepositions in a written and oral way in class using the board, and the student must take notes in their notebook. The resource for this session are notebook, pencil, and board. The time for the session is 20 minutes. The session practice. The teacher must form working groups and share an audio and reading of the adjectives and prepositions, where each group must listen to it in class and repeat the adjectives and prepositions. And then they carry out the reading related with the topic after each group exposes the pronunciation of the adjectives and prepositions to their other classmates, and finally they make reading the content in order to build confidence and strengthen your knowledge of the subject. The result for this session are audio and reading. The time for this session is 20 minutes. The session production. The teacher shares to each of the students an exercise to complete, where the student must write an adjective and preposition. I prepared taking into account the images and the sentence of each of the adjectives and prepositions. The resource for this session is an example. Like you can see, this is the example. Picture and sentence. There is an example related with this topic, and the student must complete the adjectives and preposition according the picture and sentence. The time for this session is 20 minutes. Materials for this lesson: worksheets, readings, flashcards, pencil, notebook, among others. And for finally this lesson, the session assessments. The teacher must identify the difference and correct mistakes to all the students. To secondly, conduct an individual oral evaluation in order to qualify the student and identify differences and create reinforcement workshop if necessary. Okay, this is all. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.